Okay, the time is now 7 p.m. and I will ask if you can please join me in a salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will start the meeting with a quick announcement, but I do want to go over logistics for those that are in the room, just so everybody understands how tonight's meeting will run. I'll start with a brief statement from the president. We'll then move to citizens open forum and give citizens the opportunity to come up and speak. We will then move to executive session or vote to move to executive session, and we will likely adjourn from executive session this evening. So that's how the flow of the meeting will work this evening. And I'll start quickly with my brief announcement. So before we move forward with tonight's agenda, I wanted to provide a brief update regarding the purpose of the special meeting and the process the town council is following. As many residents are aware, on August 4th, the Massachusetts Office of Inspector General released a report containing matters involving our town manager, Justin Casanova Davis, during his prior employment with the town of Norfolk. The town council believes it is important that we carefully and responsibly review the information that has been presented and provide the town manager with an appropriate opportunity to respond directly to us as the appointing authority. Tonight, we expect to enter into executive session to discuss certain matters consistent with Massachusetts law. I want to emphasize that the matters alleged in the Inspector General's report concerning Mr. Casanova Davis' prior employment in Norfolk, it did not occur during his service as town manager in Bridgewater, and at this time, the council has no information indicating that any improper conduct has occurred in Bridgewater. We will, however, review this matter carefully and ensure that our policies and procedures are as up to date as possible. Tonight's meeting is an important part of the council's review process as we determine the next steps. I also want residents to know that we intend to provide a public update tomorrow evening during our regular scheduled town council meeting regarding where this process stands and any next steps that the council is able to discuss publicly. We recognize public interest in this matter, and we appreciate the community's patience as the council works through this process carefully, fairly, and responsibly. With that, we will proceed with tonight's agenda, and I will move to citizens open forum. So a reminder for folks to please state your name and address, and we'll keep comments to 3 minutes, please. Ms. Hanson, just one moment. Sorry, just for folks in the crowd, we are recording with this camera here to my left. So that's the only camera available. So the setup may seem a little bit awkward, but if folks would like to adjust a little bit where you're at, just so folks are aware that's the camera that's recording.
So am I okay?
You're okay where you're at, yeah.
Is it a good side view? Janet Hanson, Pleasant Street. You answered a couple of my questions on what you're going to discuss tonight, but I'm going to just read what I wrote. While I don't necessarily know exactly what the town council will be addressing tonight in the executive session, which I now know, I just want to implore you to all investigate carefully to be sure all facts are accurate and in place before any decisions are reached. I don't want it to be based on emotions. So easy to sometimes make decisions based on emotions without actually looking at the facts. This is the only way to be sure things are done right. Thorough investigation so there won't be any questions after, no matter what the outcome is. This includes opinions from non-residents. While it's okay for non-residents to have thoughts, suggestions, and opinions, it is ultimately the residents of Bridgewater that will be affected, and their thoughts, suggestions, opinions are the only ones that matter. But decisions can't be based on emotions. It has to be done correctly with thorough investigations and research, etc., before any decisions. So there can't be any question, again, no matter what the outcome, for everybody concerned. The town charter and code and contracts need to be included. These things are the most important things to make sound decisions that won't be questioned later. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Philip Mallard, 270 Grange Park. I want to begin with the facts, which are the findings of the Massachusetts Office of Inspector General. The OIG's recent investigation of Norfolk identifies a series of specific failures by our town manager in his prior position. He failed to properly supervise the DPW director, who reported directly to him, failed to take corrective action after town employees brought improper expenditures to his attention, failed to ensure that the DPW director complied with Massachusetts procurement laws and requirements, failed to establish and enforce adequate procurement controls, failed to prevent large unauthorized purchases with taxpayer money, failed to prevent town employees and town equipment from being used for private purposes, failed to prevent improper charges to the Water Enterprise Fund, failed to properly oversee timekeeping, and failed to properly account for his own vacation and sick time. That's just the most recent OIG investigation. The earlier Sharon Avenue letter identified additional procurement failures, restricting competition, accepting a proposal 8 days late, despite express prohibitions against such proposals, and changing a material requirement after the proposal had been received. That's not one mistake on a bad day or an oversight. That's a pattern of failures involving oversight, procurement, supervision, financial controls, public assets, and accountability. And who was responsible for every single one of these failures? The town administrator, the chief executive. The DPW director reported directly to him and no one else. The OIG found a failure to supervise and failure to take any action when this misconduct was brought to his attention. And then we have his own timekeeping. The OIG examined 9 international trips and found that he was outside the country for at least 21 work days, 210 work hours, while reporting only a portion of that time as vacation. He used sick time. He used an unverifiable other time category. And the OIG determined that thousands of dollars in vacation compensation he received when he left Norfolk was not properly earned. So I ask this council a very, very simple question. If we cannot rely on our town manager to accurately enter something as routine as his own sick time, why should we rely upon him to oversee $74 million of our taxpayer money? That's not a trivial question. A town manager is supposed to establish and set the culture of this town government. He's supposed to ensure scrupulous compliance with the law from those working beneath him and model those standards to every single person employed here. The OIG report demonstrates repeated failures in all those areas. And there's another specific lesson each and every one of you should listen to. The OIG found that the Norfolk Select Board failed to provide any, let alone adequate oversight of Mr. Casanova Davis when he was in their town. That should sound an alarm in this room to every single one of you, because Bridgewater's town council has the exact same obligations Norfolk's did. You cannot say he's a professional, let him handle it. That is precisely why elected officials are elected, to provide oversight, ask questions, exercise independent judgment. If a school bus driver had 2 documented reports of their failure to comply with simple traffic safety laws, you wouldn't tell the parents, he's experienced, let's just trust him. You would replace the driver. And Bridgewater's taxpayers have to continue to entrust $74 million a year to an executive whose prior administration has now been subject to multiple OIG findings involving hundreds of thousands of dollars of failures in procurement, supervision, financial controls, timekeeping, and public resources. The question is whether the cumulative record in these 2 reports and our own experience thus far demonstrates the judgment, accountability, and leadership that Bridgewater should require from its chief executive going forward. I believe the answer is no, and I believe the council should reach the same conclusion. The OIG has done its job. Now this council needs to do its job. Hold the town manager accountable. Either terminate him today, or if you're not comfortable doing that, suspend him without pay and investigate the facts and practices that he did there and see if they're occurring here independently through your own interviews and fact-finding and record-keeping and gathering. If so, if any of these practices persist and exist in this town, the answer is clear, and there's no question as to what must be done. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. I'll give it a shot, but I don't live in town, so I think there's like a procedure to allow someone to speak.
Yeah, would you state your name?
Oh, my name's Kevin Carey.
And then I will take a motion from the council if they would like.
What-
It would
Where
be a
are you from,
motion to
Kevin?
approve.
Oh, sorry. I live on Benson Street in Rock Village in Middleborough 02346.
Seeing no motion from the council, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Just a reminder, this will be the last opportunity of this meeting. Okay, seeing none, I will move to executive session. So I will state the reason for executive session, and then we'll take a roll call vote to enter executive session. So this evening, pursuant to MGL, Chapter 30A, Section 21A1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health, rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Do I have a motion for executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Made by Councilor Lindy and seconded by Councilor Hunt. Debbie, if you wouldn't mind the roll call, please.
Certainly. Miss Ellenberg? Yes. Miss Pagone?
Yes.
Miss Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Dr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Trocchio?
Yes.
Dr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Lindy?
Yes.
And Miss McGrath?
Yes.
9 in favor, 0 opposed.
The council will move into the second conference room here. And as a reminder, we will adjourn from the executive session this evening. Thank you.